Good evening and welcome back. If you are new here, welcome to you. If you guys are not familiar with this platform, welcome to the Black Expat Life Abroad platform. What I need you guys to do, because you are in obviously for a treat if you are familiar, you need to share the live. The live needs to be shared with people that are actually looking to move abroad. So if this is not you, but it is on your radar, you can stay right here. That is perfectly fine. But if you know somebody that is like, hey, I'm really looking at moving abroad. I need to wrap my head around where do I start? Where do I go? What this life looks like and what I need to do to get prepared to live this life. Please share it with them. This is going to be designed to connect those people looking to move abroad with the resources that they need to actually take this life and take it seriously, navigate the journey in a way where it is doable in a successful way. So many people are looking and actually moving abroad and running into a scenario where they're not successful. So, this conversation is designed to help increase the probability of success that you have in moving abroad. Tonight's conversation is number 10, day 10 of the 12 days of relocation. And if you guys haven't been able to check those out, not a problem. You guys can go to YouTube at Black Expat Life Abroad, and there is where you will find all of the conversations, not only the ones that we had for the 12 days of relocation, but also every conversation that we have had on this platform. Those things give you not only foundational and fundamental resources from immigration to visas and housing, but more so, how do I get prepared for a life that I've never lived? This is not the normal move. This move gives you a different perspective on the entire world as well as yourself. So make certain that you guys, if you are into note taking, one, you will know that I will tell you that it's good. But if you aren't, at least make certain that you're going to YouTube, Black Expat Life Abroad, because there is where you're going to be able to reference this conversation. For the people that do not know me, I will introduce myself. My name is RJ Mood. I'm originally from Philadelphia. I moved abroad to Medellin, Colombia about 3 years ago. However, I have been traveling and navigating Colombia for, I would say, about 7, almost 8 years, bringing people to give them the opportunity to see the beauty of Colombia and how I was able to experience it. That is not a normal scenario because a lot of people, Colombia may have just become on their radar, whether that is traveling or moving abroad. When I first started coming, I was invited by a Colombian, so I had kind of a hookup. And a lot of the conversations we get into on this platform are designed to give you the real behind having the hookup that you need, that connective resource, that person that if he's not the guy or she's not the guy, woman, that knows the people that can help you, that can navigate and facilitate some of the questions, how to get prepared, considering where you are coming from, which is in the United States, watching this right now, and then looking to navigate what life could be like for you abroad. It is a multi layered, multi nuanced question that I need people and everybody on to understand that it is very serious. You have the opportunity to transform and change your life. I don't know if you realize that when you put on, hey, I'm looking at moving abroad. You might liken it to a normal move that you would be from Philadelphia to Atlanta to from New Orleans to Los Angeles. But those are in the continental United States. Even with different accents, different foods, you are still going to have something different that is all familiar at the same time within staying in America. But when you move abroad, the first time that you are really out of the bubble that is America, seeing America from the outside looking in versus the inside looking out, as well as, oh, I'm just here for vacation, so let me go back to my comforts. Once you fully unplug from the United States, you are going to run into a lot of what tonight's conversation is going to navigate around. Now, you obviously have seen the headline being retirement, getting rid of the paralysis analysis of the entire move abroad process. We're going to get into a number of topics, but these things are designed. These are designed to take that empty toolkit or empty bag that you have and start to put some things in it. Some things that you can start utilizing and preparing to actually move abroad. It is a journey of both taking your physical body and moving. It is a journey of level setting with yourself, understanding who you are, what are your core values, what makes the most sense for you, what is the life that you want to live. And I don't mean the American dream. I mean the life that when you look in the mirror, when you're brushing your teeth in the morning, that you think that you should live. Not saying that all your wishes are going to become true on the other side of the United States, but more of your core values can and should if you align yourself correctly. So, definitely make sure, and if you haven't already, share this conversation. We're going to get into it because I don't want to keep you for too long. What I will tell you is this: November 22nd, we are having our virtual relocation conference. This particular 12 days of relocation series, it leads up to November 14th. So look at the date. It is obviously a couple of days away from the 14th. Friday will be here before you know it. The reason that date is going to be important to you is simply because that is when our early bird discount tickets end for our virtual relocation conference. Yes, this conversation is free, but we have compiled over 10 speakers. They cover destinations including Colombia, Medellin, Santa Marta, as well as Cali, Colombia. They include Playa del Carmen, Mexico, as well as Panama City, Panama, and Cape Town, South Africa. Those give you the where. Where can you go and what's all going on there? But there's other things that you need to learn, right? So we're bringing all of that to the conference. It also takes on what immigration visas look like. We don't know where you may end up, but there are some fundamental documents and some understandings of even how your passport works that you need to wrap your head around when looking outward of the United States into where should I go. You also need to understand that what you are dealing with right now isn't the global sphere. So when you consider what is going on with the government on the news and the shutdown, everything is coming back to healthcare. Now, you may be in a scenario where you have pre existing conditions. You might be in a scenario where you are perfectly fine, or you are starting to get older and want to know what my options are. You'll be happy to find one, that healthcare abroad is one, often more affordable. Two, often more accessible, which is important to navigate and understand. But how and who's going to do that for you? We'll bring on our healthcare expert to help you guys get your heads wrapped around that. We also bring out the other things that you might forget running out of the burning house that is America. These things include one, which is really important. I tell you guys, when you say I'm looking to move abroad, you are saying, hey, I want to transform my life. But you are also saying, I am open and want to be a part of a new community, a new environment, a new pace of life, a new quality of life, a new understanding of life. Getting connected to those things and getting the opportunity to volunteer helps you in so many different ways, from language learning to culture and understanding of traditions to just being a valued asset to the community that you are saying that you want to be a part of. But where do you start and how do you navigate that? We bring on our volunteerism expert that gives you the guys the ability to see why it's important and how to get and hit the ground running. We also understand, because community is important, how to navigate that, and we'll bring in conversations surrounding that. One of the other biggest topics is moving abroad with my children. What does it look like? How do I prepare? What do I need to look out for? What is different from healthcare as well as schooling? The options can be endless depending on what it is that you are open for. How do you navigate that and how do you get prepared right where you are in America, trying to figure out if this is something that is good for you? So we bring on a parent that actually came through our program. She was able to come on a relocation tour and move her family, two children, young children, 90 days. It took her 90 days to get this information and put it together to successfully be able to move her children abroad. And this is somebody that we're bringing to the table so you can hear from somebody that actually has done this. What you also need to understand that you may not remember that you have an entire opportunity with taking America's weight off of you. But the first time you take it off of you, you may be in a position in understanding, how do I navigate this no longer heavy feeling? How do I navigate new language, new culture, new traditions, new pace of life? But having someone to actually be able to discuss this with, someone that has traveled the world, help other expats, people that have left the United States, run into a scenario where they're understood by their what could be deemed crazy thoughts or I don't understand that. I haven't gone abroad. We run into so many different things when it comes to mental health, and there's a positive thing that happens with taking off the American weight, but there's a reflective thing that happens, and navigating that is important. So we bring on a doctor that helps people that have moved abroad get coaching and skills and expertise on navigating this new life, because it's not just taking you and getting you outside of the United States, but how do you thrive when you get there or here? That is really important to understand that this is not just a one-step journey. It's a multi-step journey and it's a continuing journey. We bring that on. Also, we talk about one of the reasons why we are here tonight. One, a lot of people are looking to make money. We had that conversation last week. How do I make money to move abroad? We bring on somebody that is going to navigate you around starting an online business, what digital marketing and affiliate marketing look like, giving you guys the understanding that that $100,000 number that you may need to have or may be reaching for in the United States, you'd be surprised how much things cost, how much things that you are paying a premium for actually don't cost as much, and you are able to achieve a lot more, even oftentimes with less money. So you got to wrap your head around, what does remote work look like? How do I make money online? Whether it's a traditional job, you creating a business, you already having a business, these are valuable resources that you need to put into that relocation toolkit. But there's only one place to go get them. So November 22nd, you guys need to be in the room. If you guys aren't serious and aren't wanting these resources and you think you can DIY it, please be my guest, anonymous member that will future be in the chat saying it didn't work out the way I had it planned. We have done our due diligence to put this conference together as well as these 12 days of relocation. So that way you don't have to, one, question if there's going to be any value at the conference. Two, question if the conference is somewhere that you need to be from a, do I have time to positively increase my success rate? I think we both know the answer to that. But tonight's conversation and one of the last pieces that we have for our virtual relocation conference is about building wealth abroad. Now, that is a dual-edged conversation, and we're going to challenge the nuances of it tonight. But a lot of people, I get a lot of people calling me. What they say is, hey, I'm retired. I have a pension. I worked 60, 30 years, 40 years, and now I'm going into my 70s or I'm in my 60s and I'm able to retire. We also have people that are military veterans. Military veterans have possibly served their country and now they get a lifetime pension. These things offers unique and specific opportunities to those kinds of people that we're going to get into and navigate. But if you aren't a retired military vet or you aren't a retired person, don't think that this conversation won't be for you. Because outside of what those nuances provide, we are going to give you guys some more resources outside of just, let me tell you what the conference is about, but to ask yourself, a lot of what our platform is to be the person that will ask you the questions that you didn't need to know to ask yourself and challenge you to face the answer, to write it down, to take it out of your head and visualize it and understand where exactly you are. Reflection is going to be one of the biggest probability boost in how you're going to succeed across the multi layers of what you're getting into: housing, immigration, getting back to community, navigating culture, navigating language, navigating pace of life, navigating who you are and what your core values are. Maybe you're sitting right here right now with a Rolex on and you're like, okay, no, so keep wrap it up. But that Rolex is maybe something that you core value right now and no longer value on the other side of the TSA. These conversations are designed to get you into that and around that. So let us talk about it. We are talking about retiring abroad, but a retiring abroad all is a specific topic. But when we talk about retiring abroad, let's just talk about your increase of quality of life. So many people are in this scenario. Hey, I've worked a long time and here's my pension. It's, I don't know, $2,000 a month. Now, in the United States, $2,000 a month can afford you a certain lifestyle. Now, let's take all the people that are working and they're like, hey, I make $3,000 a month, $2,000 a month. Those same numbers can afford you a certain lifestyle. Now, your numbers may be higher, they may be lower, but one thing is for certain: the lifestyle that most of what Americans are seeing affords them with the US dollar the way that it is, you're seeing you're being able to reach exactly what you have, spending a lot less on housing, spending a lot less on food. I get so many people that when they think about retiring abroad, I always ask, where are you today? What do you have going on in your life what is prompting this scenario? And where are you as far as your research? Because I want to understand what your main focus is when you look to go move abroad. That's why I tell you guys, the ones that I don't have one-on-ones with, and say, what are you looking for? If it's healthcare, go somewhere where healthcare is going to be miles in comparison. Now, you might not think, oh, I just want something that's at least as good as the United States. But believe it or not, you can get healthcare access and affordability that is puts America to shame. I am here to tell you. But you have to be specific. So when you look at these things, you have to realize that whether or not you're retiring or you're going to be continuing working on your abroad, you're really looking at a quality of life scenario. Now, depending on where you go, quality of life, access to certain things is going to vary. So many people have places that when they start to really dig down and do their research, Costa Rica could be one. You might say, okay, well, demographic, hey, there's a lot of Americans that are here, but they may be some of the people I might not be looking to be around. That's one thing. One, cost of living. If cost of living is your number one thing, there's some places you can just go cross off. Because cost of living isn't going to be positively impacted. It's going to be at the exact same rate, or not a huge difference to where this should be your number one priority. But that comes down to destination. So you guys have to really understand, you guys are looking for a quality of life, whether retirement abroad or looking and moving from a scenario of I still have to work. How does my quality of life get impacted? So many people, when I look at what Colombia offers, they're like, man, I didn't realize that this was all available. There's gyms outside that are public access gyms. You can just walk up and pretty much get an entire workout for free in public. Now, you might be shy, which is fine, but these things are readily accessible, and being able to navigate if you're retired and you're saying, hey, I want to remain active. Well, Medellin is a great place to remain active. How active do you want to get? Oh, or you are in a scenario where your mobility is concerned, and that doesn't have to do with retired or not. There's all people with mobility issues that need to help get navigated around. Is this? I know it sounds good, and I know all of the research you've done, but was it intentful? Mobility is one of the biggest things that I consult people with, because if you have a hard time walking, you are going to be very specific when you narrow down just to Medellin how to get around. People in wheelchairs and different things of that nature. There's so many different variations of what is isolated to you. These conversations are going to touch a number of people, but that's why I tell people to have a consultation. It gives you the opportunity to get some real questions that are only identified to you, because so many people are taking retirement abroad, they're taking moving abroad, and they're saying, well, I saw somebody do it, and I know it's possible, so I can get it figured out myself. Does that work? Sometimes. Is that a high probability of success? No. You need to wrap your head around, how do I continuously work in avenues where my probability of success are high? You can't guarantee anything. But let's get into something that causes a lot of people to stay right where they are, regardless of retirement, regardless of what your working status is. Analysis paralysis. A lot of people, sorry, you guys are procrastinators. I've told you guys are hoarders on this platform, so you shouldn't be surprised that I had the audacity to call you a procrastinator. It's okay. We're all procrastinators in some way. Sometimes, what we should be doing, there's a fear. You kind of wait around, but when you finally get it done, you're like, I could have got this done easily. Or you know what, that felt good to break the ice on that, and now I feel like I can just keep doing it. We tell ourselves so many different things. Only you know what you tell yourself in regards to this. But analysis paralysis, consistently staying somewhere where you don't feel welcome, staying somewhere where you don't feel safe, You know, they have said, research has said that, trauma is passed down. So, depending on what community you're from, you understand exactly what I mean. So, imagine you having a analysis paralysis scenario in a place where hey, I could pass down trauma from I don't have kids to now I have kids and they're experiencing some of this trauma down to a genetic level. Never mind the trauma of which so many people are navigating in the United States. Going outside, what does that look like if somebody decides to be upset and they're having a bad mental health day? Sending my kids to school. These things are all things that you go through, and you don't have that wasn't the catalyst of, because it didn't start this year, it didn't start with Trump 2.0. These are things that you guys got used to, and that is a part of the analysis paralysis, because a lot of these things are designed to make you, the fight or flight situation. Nobody's fighting, so it's more so like, well, get out of there if you can't escape it. And nobody is moving, and I say nobody, I mean the masses of people are staying right in America, and that is a part of the analysis paralysis. They're asking me if I'm safe and not realizing that I asked them, are you safe? I tell everybody to get off the phone, be safe. You never know what's going on outside, especially in America. A grocery store run could be quite an interesting scenario. So I need you guys to wrap your head around that you are here because of analysis paralysis. I left 3 years ago. No, it wasn't Donald Trump coming back. It wasn't none of those things that may be the reason why you're looking now. And you have to remember what used to give you pause: mass incidents, school things, healthcare issues, or the cost of it, the food quality. When that first happened, it was like gas. I'm not paying no $3 for gas. How are people going to afford to pay $3 for gas? Well, guess what? They put $3 of gas on you, and at first they gave you pause for cause, but you just thought about it, and there's nothing that you could do. But here's something that you can do, because moving gives you something to do. It gives you something to see, at least if what your life has gotten to be, at least to this day, is it factual? Yes, you might think America has told you that everything they told you was accurate. We're the best country in the in the world. Our education system is top tier. Our healthcare are top tier. Our Americans, they love America. Everything here they're excited about. You should actually want to be here. That is what American preaches to the citizens as well as the global United States. The global world. But I think the reason why you're here is because you're starting to wake up and realize that thought process that almost plugged into the American dream thing, you're starting to kind of wake up, and it's not as real as it once seemed. But you need now to do something. And a lot of you, because it is overwhelming, the move abroad process, you might not want to do anything. I heard somebody tell me during the pandemic, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to do nothing. And that may be good for a little bit of time, just a little bit. But eventually, you're going to need to do something. And if these things prior to, because those things didn't just have happened in this year, weren't the reason, yet the things that happened this year are the reason, take it all into consideration and devise a plan. That paralysis analysis doesn't need to be a fatal flaw. We can always correct our mistakes with time, but you do need to understand that I don't know what's they say. I saw that they're like, hey, we're going to bring back everybody to voting on the government shutdown and opening and everything else, but maybe they won't bring back as many air traffic controllers. So maybe flights are always going to be like less than what it was. What does that look like? I know for a fact one of the reasons I moved abroad was because I could travel more for a lot less. From Colombia, I can go to Aruba for like $147 round trip. Or I think it's one way. My apologies. Panama is like 175, 200. A lot of places, different places in South America, way cheaper. Even just travel in Colombia. Medellin to Cartagena might be like $30, $40 one way. Excuse me, depending on when you get it. But you guys are in this scenario where going from Philadelphia to Atlanta might start being way too costly. Why am I spending $700 to go to Philadelphia to Atlanta? Round trip. So these are real things, like, can you afford it now versus what the other side of 2026 in the next couple of weeks and/or months, half a month and/or a year, because we have 3 years left of this current administration? What does that look like? Can you afford to have paralysis analysis and not say, hey, do I come to a place that can give me some things? Can just talk to me and let me realize that one, you're not crazy for thinking it's time to go, but I can't convince you that it's time to go. You need to put that on your plate. But what do I actually need to think about when I talk about that reflective moment? The questions I need to ask for myself. When nobody's around, what is it that I'm actually looking to leave? And what am I looking for? Retirement is going to look different, as well as working abroad is going to look different, and what you need. Some places are going to have a lower barrier of entry. These also give you ability to go towards residency in some places. This is going to be nuanced down to where you go. That is why I tell you, unless you are an immigration consultant, already a visa person, you are already overwhelmed with trying to figure out what to put in not only your relocation toolkit, but your actual physical bag of what you take and move without the United States. How do you have the time to become an expert on immigration law, what documents you need for that particular place? So many of you guys are not even understanding how your passport works and saying, hey, I've never been there, but what visa should I apply for before I get there? And I'm like, none, none. Sure, we got services that you can apply for the visa for, but that's not my job isn't to just take your money. My job is to help you build a life. There are options that you can work with us to help build that life, but there's steps that you need to take. Even in the elevator on our 100 days to freedom, you still go through steps. And if you skip the steps, you may need to go back and take those steps. Because what we have put together and what we are doing is trying to give you the tools and where to start, and then where you go next. And then who do I need to be? And then how do I understand what I've never been experienced to? Those are reflective moments. So analysis paralysis needs to end tonight on day 10. You made it here through all 10 days. Thank you. But please wake up. Wake up and realizing that it may not get any better than what it is. It may actually get worse. 6 months ago, I wasn't expecting anything as I see on TV or actually in real life, never mind what's on the tube. Yet we are here. And I want you guys not to be in a retroactive scenario and saying, okay, this happens. So now what do I do? Start now. It doesn't say you need to leave tomorrow, but start now. Start understanding what the requirements are and who you are. Okay, you already are retired, so you have a lifetime pension. But what documents do I need? Are those going to be difficult? Do you have, oh, you have to get an FBI background check. That old misdemeanor that's lingering, maybe it's nothing. It probably is. It's a misdemeanor. But when you go up and show to a new country, do you want that on your FBI background check? Oh, maybe you didn't know it was there. Well, you're going to find out. But these are things and situations you can start gathering and doing the research. I love when I have a consultation with somebody and that because I ask them, what have you done without this conversation? And I'm starting to hear more people take it seriously. I've been looking at this for 2 years and now I'm ready to go. I did the research and I was listening to you and you said it's about mindset. So I started asking myself questions. And I'm like, okay, I can't touch everybody, but maybe the world is putting that information at least into people's heads and hearts and understanding that you need to question yourself. Because if you aren't up for the task, then it doesn't matter what resources I give you. It doesn't matter. You have to walk through the door on your own. And so many people aren't realizing that this help that we give and the resources is about, okay, taking connectivity and putting it in. But if there's no power at the house, I can put the plugs in the sockets, but there's no power here. I need you guys to power yourself and empower yourself. Get out of that paralysis analysis stage and saying, woe is me, I don't know what to do or don't do anything, and start doing something. Looking at what you have in your life. Where are your values? Okay, I'm tired of America, so let me get that off. But where do I go that won't replicate where it is that I am and get tired of it? Oh, my bills are so high. If I could just lower my costs, I make good money, but my costs are so high. Well, where can you go and make that money and your costs go lower? And also considering, I talk about that mindset thing because Just because you spend 5,000 a month right now, and you go somewhere where you can drop that down and get the exact same service for $2,000 a month, doesn't mean that your mindset is ready to take that $3,000 and do something with it positively. That can look like a lot of different things. Oftentimes I see people saying, yeah, my rent is cheap, but I go out every night and go to the club and go to the bar, so I end up spending the same amount I was in the United States. And that is a personal choice. That is somebody that moved abroad and wasn't ready for the mindset shift. Often this is what happens. One, they end up going back home because it didn't work out. They ran out of money. Or two, what happened is they go and something bad happens. And then now they have something negative to say about the country and the entire experience. You've seen it all. Those are the things that you get when you go put it into these places. Oh, what happens in Colombia? Oh, I'm getting this, and this done. That's not happening on a widespread basis. But considering how information is gathered and consumed these days, that is what you get. And I tell you guys, most people, most platforms you go on, they're telling you about the time that they're having. And it's just like, well, you can have this time too. My time is my time in regards to how I live my life. You aren't me. But this opportunity in today's conversation is like, okay, let's put these resources together. But what can I get you to understand about who you may be and have the opportunity to be in on this road to find out? So I need you guys to take a deep breath. You are okay, and you will be okay. You just have to devise a plan. This opportunity tonight is helping you try to say, okay, I'm not the only one feeling a little overwhelmed. I'm not the only one feeling overworked and not sure where to start. But you have to start. That is not without concern. Question I have in the chat is, how do you know when you research enough to start planning? One of my general rule of thumbs, and this is super easy to get, if you don't know three neighborhoods, you shouldn't move there. And when I say know three neighborhoods, you can learn three names of a neighborhood, but what do you know about the neighborhood? Matter of fact, better question, what do you know about housing there and what that looks like? Oh, I want an industrial loft. What if industrial loft style studios don't exist where you're saying you're going? So you just want to be the first one and the only one. You want to rent the one unit that is an industrial loft in the entire city. You see how you got to level set and adjust your expectations versus values of stuff and things. And it's like, okay, I need 2 bedrooms. I need an office. You're not even considering, is it a walkable neighborhood? You're used to having a car in the United States. So many people who live abroad don't have a car. When I meet people that live abroad and they're like, yeah, I drive, I'm like, Godspeed, brother, and good luck. One, I don't want to drive internationally. It's a different beast in the United States. And then two, I am done with the car life. I had a really nice car before I moved, and I'm just over it. I hate driving at this point. I don't want to drive. But these things are all considerables. I'm 6'3". If I go into a place and assume that the bed's going to be tall enough for me, that's not a good assumption for me. So what your research comes down to is what your priorities are. Okay, where do I live? What does that look like? Who am I? Do I have mobility issues? Do I have a bad knee? Can I afford to be having to walk up and down a hill to go to the grocery store? Maybe you want to go to a beach town and everything is flat. I have no idea where your narrowed down journey and destination is going to be. But these are the questions that you need to put into the research. How do you figure that out? Obviously, everybody that is on our destination for the conference that is be speaking, they have an ability for after the conference. Your ticket actually comes with a discount on the relocation tour. That's a physical one. Get on the ground. See this stuff before you sell all of your stuff. If you don't know what life is there like, is life there is like, not the tourist time when you came and you did all the fun stuff and you went ATV and you went, no. What are you doing on a Tuesday? Where do you go to the grocery store? Is this the only grocery store that I can go to? Is there a cheaper one? Is there a local market? Is there farmers that I can get access to fruits and veggies? Question. I don't know where you're going. These things are on the plate and then available in Colombia, and there's so many different ways to navigate that. Even something as small as, and this I'm like, your research is that you're always going to be learning. Even getting money out the ATM. Do you know to decline the conversion, but you need to accept the transaction fee? Do you know that they give you in Colombia, at least, when you compare it to getting money out the ATM in the United States, They give you your card last. So many Americans end up leaving their card in the ATM because they got, I got my money, I got my receipt. They must have given me my card. The process is a little different. These things are all research things that help you navigate what your new life could be like or is going to be like. So, have you done enough research? You're always going to be learning. But the core things, who is going to show me, or is there a community available for me to be a part of? Does the community offer advice, guidance? Is everything behind a paywall? Can somebody just say, hey, is there a doctor? And they're like, yeah, you can set up a consultation. Or it's like, here, here's a doctor, go call him. I have no idea. You need to search with that intent. So your research scenario says, okay, have I done my online research right where you are? Have I packed my bags, gone there and said, let me go look at neighborhoods and let me go see what the different apartments are like. And let me go see if I can tap in with the local community of either people that look like me, people that are just whatever your nuances. But until you've done that, I personally don't think you are going to have a high probability of success. So research definitely comes down to that. Inspecting what you expect. See three neighborhoods. All three neighborhoods, a lot of the times, are going to be completely different. Daytime, nighttime, noise levels. Yes, you're moving out of the United States. Latin culture, depending on if that's on your vibe or it's on your radar, can be a lot louder than what it is that you are accustomed to. And they are not going to turn the radio down because you're around. The radio is on right now. You can't hear it, but it's on right now. Navigating that, what that looks like. Do you have young kids? Noise levels are definitely something to consider. But you get to a place where you got America's off, but you got the maracas outside. But then it's just like, nah, it's Tuesday at 11 o'clock. You know, let them play. Matter of fact, I'm going to go down there and give them a couple dollars. That can be on your radar, but it comes with introspection of who you are and how you navigate and adapt. So this research thing definitely needs to have some of those key elements, but you also need to take in consideration that it's an ongoing process. I'm 38 years old. So if I left this year and this was my first time and this was my first real time out, I would have had 38 years in the United States learning what America had for me with no real knowledge of what the globe had for me. I could spend the next 38 years taking America's BS off me, navigating new language and new culture and new foods and new pace of life, all of these things, and still not see it all. So I tell people when they're looking to move abroad, whether they're retiring or not, you're a baby. You are almost a baby. Unless you have done this before, you're almost a baby. And that's okay. That's why we bring you the tools, because a baby needs help. I got y'all. Um, One thing I will say regarding retiring and in Colombia specifically, and this is going to get narrowed down because I can only speak for Colombia when it comes to me. We have our destination experts that'll be at the conference. You guys will have the ability, if you get a ticket, and to ask them, because we do not only a presentation but a Q&A. After they get done, you're able to ask them questions that are specific to you for the time frame that we have them there. But I say this is because you guys are really need to hold on one second. Let me just take a look here. Somebody just asked a question. Yep. You guys need to take a look at this from a scenario of understanding. Once you get out abroad, everything is going to be nuanced down to your destination. But in Colombia, you do have some unique things that aren't widespread around the world. One, I will tell you, there is a large number of Americans living specifically in Medellin right now. Depending on what you consider large, I know the Black and Medellin chat is over 400 people right now. So that is more oftentimes than what you are used to seeing in some communities. And there are other ones that are bigger. But one of the key things I think makes Medellin unique, especially for my military vets, because we just went through Veterans Day, is that there is a VA office in Medellin. So I run into a lot of people that are at the retirement age, but then a lot of them are younger than me, 25, 30, 35, and are retired from the military and are able to navigate the different VA options. There's VA group chats and different people there that are in the community as well in Medellin that will help you navigate what your options are and in this process. So if you're retired from one job, but then you also a military vet, take that into consideration. Now, that's not a blanket statement for anywhere else, but Colombia does offer this. And these things are really important to know because it's about community. Maybe I'm not a veteran, I'm not. But if there's an entire people of community of veterans living in the place or place, one of the places that you have on your radar, wouldn't that be important to your success rate? People that would understand you and navigate what you may have already looked into but didn't have any clarity. So I need people to realize that one, it is going to be down to destination, but two, at least with Colombia, retirement and that opportunity for the military vets is, I would say, at an all-time high. One of the things that we're bringing on with the conference is none other than Miss Corey Hooks. I really appreciate my community back at home connecting me with Corey because she is a financial expert. What this means for you and the value when moving abroad, we talked about one, you're retiring. Can you retire in the United States with what they say they're going to give you in your 401k or Social Security, whatever the case is? But let's say you have a nice, considerable retirement, but you just want it to last a little bit longer. Well, moving abroad, one, is highly going to impact that. A $5,000 lifestyle in the United States will get you certain things, and not saying anything bad by all means, but that lifestyle may really cost the exact same amenities and kind of things that you have access to might cost 2,500. What do you do? Is your mindset to increase your luxuries and spending habits, the amount of times that you go out? Or do you put your money into vehicles that will help you further increase your wealth or extend the amount of money that you have as far as, hey, I only had enough to go to 80. Now I got enough to literally end my life, not end my life, but go into the end of my life with the consistent income. Or you're moving abroad with your family, and I believe it's the 529 plan that a lot of families utilize to help fund for their children. She helps going to help you guys navigate also. How do you run into a scenario where, a lot of people are like, hey, college may not be it. College is really expensive, student loan debt. There's so many different options for children now that just isn't a blanket statement of go to college and this is what happens. What if you could still have something similar to the 529 plan, but that wasn't so narrowed down to only usable for college? We talked about that on one of the chats, so it is available on YouTube. But these things are all resources that when you're running out of the burning house that is America, you're not going to remember, okay, once I get there, how do I take care of my finances? It's just not on the highest priority list with people at their wits' end with America. But we bring these things to you so that you can get some guidance. Understand that you're going to get the navigation of cost of living. So you're going to understand, okay, well, in Panama, it's a 1-to-1. Whereas in Colombia, it's almost 4,000 to 1. So my dollar is going to go 4,000 times to $1 versus Panama. They actually use USD. I get so many people that are like, man, nah, I want to go to Panama because I don't have to worry about conversion. Let me tell you something, brother and sister. Conversion is math. That's a lot of times it's extremely simple. But I say that is because the moment that the US dollar shows up, that dictates how much everything is. Everything. So your best bet when looking to move abroad isn't where do I find the USD? I mean, no, don't get me wrong, because even in a place like Panama, at 1-to-1 using US dollars, they aren't in a scenario where, okay, so you can go get like a place that you can see the water, like a condo, furnished for like $1,400. Let's call it even 1,500. You're not seeing anybody's water in the United States fully furnished, including utilities for 1,500. Just not going to work. So yes, things are still cheaper, but a 4,000 to 1 is going to go further than a 1-to-1. In Colombia, I don't living in Colombia and honestly living abroad. I don't utilize USD. Anytime somebody gives me USD when I'm in the United States, I try to either put it in the bank or get rid of it while I have it. I just don't need to carry it. It's not. I'm not big on like having a bunch of cash. And honestly, I've been between Mexico and Colombia. The peso works just fine for me. Oh, right. In Mexico, you can use an average of 20 to 1. Cool. I know how to do quick math. 20 to 1. 4,000 to 1. Divided by 4. 120,000 pesos. Divided by 4. It's about that much in USD. Give or take a day. Give or take on the day what the currency exchange is right there. When you use 3,000, it's going to change you a little bit lower, but this is not something you guys should be seeking out. Where outside of America can I find the US dollar so I don't have to worry about having to convert my money or navigating conversion? You want to be able to navigate that. That will burden you less and it will be in your favor because things will cost less. Anthony Bourdain said in Parts Unknown, or he said it at one time, but I know Anthony Bourdain has said, like, you go to a country and you want to know how much your dollar's going to go ask for a Coke. Price of Coke is going to kind of let you know how far your dollar is going to go. I think in Colombia, it might be like 3,000, 3,500. So 75 cents to a dollar, like a normal standard size Coke. Um, Other places might be $1.25, $2. But that will tell you because you go in the United States, it's like it's 2.25, 2.50. And it's like, well, that's how far your dollar going to go. Can't even buy a Coke for less, for was that like a quarter of the federal minimum wage? So when you're thinking about moving abroad, whether you're retiring and thinking, how far can my money go, or can I have a better quality of life on this money that I will get from the rest of my life? If you're looking at military situations, you obviously have that same exact factor, but you also have the benefit of having a local VA in Medellin, having a local VA community of military expats that are living there. Navigate that down to destination also. But from a general perspective of moving, one of the biggest things I see people realizing is yes, my money goes further. I can afford just to get sick and have a doctor come to my house. I can afford to go out and every time I go out to lunch, it's not $75 for two people or $100 plus. What does that look like from, never mind from a dollars and cents scenario? What's that look like for your mental health? How does that positively impact you? Stress is one of the most things that we are starting to see. You don't have to make it all the way to 65 to have a heart attack these days. Heart attacks were strictly only for old men, and we're seeing so many men and women that are not of old age having heart attacks because of the stress of America. What if that stress can be relieved? What does that look like for you? What kind of space does that open up for you in your life? Now, one of the things I will get into, because I actually got an email about this and I got to email them back, but I want to just make sure and I'm responding to them correctly because I am not a tax professional. I am not. I only claim to be what it is that I can offer, and then I work with all our professionals to help guide you through the process. Because a lot of people are asking about different taxes, Social Security. Can I get my retirement benefits? Yes, you can get your retirement benefits overseas. Taxes are a different nuance. What I do is try to get understanding of what you're looking for, and then put you into the people that can guide you with that. So that's one of the things. But I will tell you this because if you stay in the United States, if you live outside of the United States for a certain amount of time, you could be a tax resident. However, the United States does have a federal earned income credit that does allow you to take certain amounts of your earned income as a credit off and avoid double taxation in most scenarios, depending on what treaty that you have accepted and depending on what professional you work with and how they help you navigate that, you can make certain that you are not double taxed. There is, I think this year I saw it was like 130,000. So if you made 130,000 and you were outside of the United States for more than a certain amount of time, then that could be credited because you weren't in the U.S. using tax funded resources, I guess. But I am not a tax professional. I will tell you that. These conversations and what we do is you start to get some nuance and niche questions. Cool. Let me understand what you have because I am not going to act as somebody I am not. I will always vet and then give you directly to somebody that has already helped a bunch of people that navigate that so you don't have to go figuring out who can help me with this. But taxes are one thing, but the ability to access your pension as well as your Social Security benefits Yes, you can. Hey, you sound like Barack Obama, but yes, you can. What also Corey is going to be doing, our financial expert, she's going to help you get a roadmap when you go, because you'll do every ticket holder for the November 22nd conference. They will get a free consultation with her included in the conference. So you will be able to call her, set up some time with her to get a roadmap of, okay, I am looking to move abroad, and get an understanding of which ways she can help you with your new life. You may want to have an initial call that gets you acclimated and understanding of where you are. Once you get settled, you might want to set up a secondary call now that you understand what your monthly budget is in relevance to what you have coming in. That handles for both military vets, that handles for both retirement people, that handles also parents with kids, that handles for somebody that's saying, hey, maybe this is the only time I get to move abroad and free up the money to build a retirement. So many people my age don't have enough money to retire. I guess I'm just going to work until I'm done. That's the reality so many people have. But what if moving abroad actually creates this space for you to do so? So putting you with a financial expert is going to be key there. It's going to be extremely key. Uh, Depending on who you are, well, everybody should know. We talked about this just a little bit, but healthcare options outside of the United States are so much better. You guys are going to be in great shape when it comes to healthcare. Many times, and you saw the pandemic happen, many times in the places that you guys have on your top expat destinations list, many times in the places that the United States told you was a third world country. Well, we saw the pandemic happen, and the best doctors from around the world, they came together to get it solved. And guess what happened? They sent in a lot of people from these quote unquote third world countries. Why? Because the healthcare is a lot better, and I feel like it is. It's a higher integrity profession outside of the United States. It may not get you an opportunity to go drive a Ferrari or live in Malibu, but it will give you an opportunity to think. At least I thought. What you decided to become a doctor for, helping people that need help to stay healthy, that get sick, helping them get better. These things are not privatized in a way where, one, from you making U.S. dollars is going to cost that much, especially what you're considering, and then two, is going to put you in a scenario from the accessibility and ease that you see versus the friction that I feel like comes with healthcare. A lot of people are saying, if I can I get old abroad? Yes. I know in Medellin, there's a community, and I'm not saying this is like an old folks community by any means, but in Sabaneta, that place is like, if you can get your Spanish together over time, you're gonna have a hell of a time as an old person out there in Sabaneta, because they're out there playing dominoes. You go into the square sometimes, and it looks like the day room of the old folks home. But they having a good time. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, they literally go down, meet with their friends, talking, enjoying the beautiful weather, playing checkers, dominoes, cards, eating, drinking coffee. Like I said, it's a different life. And I think I got a lot of people just need to wrap their head around it, but you really can't. Because how do you get a caged animal to wrap their head around freedom? It's really difficult. That's why people look at people that move abroad that have this certain air about themselves, like, y'all are wild. Like, no, I'm not inundated with BS. I'm not weighed down with how do I survive. I'm not weighed down with, is my grocery store run the last, like, I need to kiss my family every time I go outside because it's may just be the last time. That's not my concerns when I walk outside. Yes, things happen, but what that stress does to you is you can only feel it when you get it off. You're going to remember this conversation. I remember that conversation. Now, nobody had these conversations with me. So many people didn't have these conversations with a lot of us that have. We naturally and organically found each other and were able to converse amongst each other, and we're saying, yo, we all didn't know each other prior to meeting. Yeah, we all went through the same thing. We all were faced with the same challenges in the mirror perspective of, who am I? What means the world to me? I don't know what your answer is. Um, the retirement process, the military veteran process, the processes of What documents? How long can this retirement visa last? All of that stuff. That's for the conference. That's the tools. Here are the resources. Here are the people that are going to guide you. Here are the conversations that you need to have with the specific expert and how to go about having them. Tonight was to take a look at who you are. Yes, you are retired already. You're looking to move. Cool. Yes, you are a military vet and you get a lifetime pension. Cool. Maybe you're none of those things and stayed around for the entire conversation because I told you it was going to be something that you needed to hear. I'm glad you did stay around for the entire conversation because I am certain that you heard something that you put into your relocation toolkit, that you put into that book bag, and are able to go reference that and say, okay, now I'm realizing, because he keeps saying it, I'm realizing that housing, these things, yes, you can get these resources. Yes, we're bringing you directly to them so you don't have to figure out being scammed or do these people actually do their jobs. All of this is brought to me. But what this guy, RJ, is saying to me is, am I ready to move? Because he can give me the resources. But when I get there, am I going to have a good time based off of who I am at my core? Or am I ready to start looking introspectively before I go buy a ticket? Am I looking for America outside of the United States? Because you will not find it. You will not be welcomed in the way that so many people are if you are looking for America abroad. You need to realize that this conversation, this relocation experience, it is the biggest mirror and the hardest thing that you will do. You are giving up everything you loved in regards to America and its comforts. But more we get into this conversation, you realize it's not as comfortable as you assume that it was and has been. You're giving up what it is that you know. You're saying I could be 40 years old and I'm willing to go almost be a baby and start learning how to say hello and good morning and how are you? That is what you are looking to do. Retired or not, veteran or not, you could be coming over here with a bunch of money. You be coming over here with a couple of dollars trying to make it work. You're going to go through the same exact thing, no matter who you are. But the preparation is the key to success. Anybody that is in Colombia, that is a Colombian, not somebody on the street, or not somebody in the United States yelling on the internet, but anybody that is Colombian, that is actually there on the ground, that will meet you, will say, these conversations are important to you, future person that may be in my neighborhood soon, because you aren't going to hear it from somebody that you don't know, speaking to you in another language, or saying, hey, you don't know the American experience. You don't know what I've been through. I know what you've been through. I know what you've been through. Not because I went through exactly, but America breeds a certain kind of person that we all go through a lot of the same things. They get niche down, but we all go through a lot of the same things. So I know what you deal with. But I also know that you have the opportunity to become a better person in this experience. You may decide, hey, I went and saw it, I inspected what I expected, and I still like America better. Listen, Bobby Brown, is your prerogative. That is perfectly fine. But don't leave this earth with the little bit of time that we all have on this world without knowing, without inspecting what the world has to offer for you. Because many of us are finding the best version of ourselves, the best version, the person that can live stress free or with less stress, the person that can now see that my calling wasn't this, my calling is actually this. And now this person is helping impact other people and create legacy in life and things in households that they don't even have access to. I am seeing this across the board and not just in on my own house. But I need you guys to believe that one, you can take this on. You can do it. The easy part is coming to the conference. We're connecting the dots. We're putting your power. Your power should be on. We're just taking the socketed and putting it into the socket. We're going to connect you directly to what you need November 22nd. But I need you to get ready and prepared before November 22nd. I need to get ready and prepared before the government opens again. Before the air traffic controllers and FAA says it's cool to come fly again, whatever the hat is on your head right now. I need you to get ready before you go book that ticket. The other side of the TSA is not for the faint of heart. It will swallow you alive if you aren't ready to see who you really are. You don't realize that the privilege that you have isn't really seen until you actually leave. The American privilege that you have heard that you have, you don't get to cash in on the United States. If you can't afford to do it, does that mean it's not in your heart to throw money in people's faces, to yell at people that are service workers or people that you feel like are beneath you? If you not do it now because you don't have the money, but what would you if you did have the money or the spending power? Who are you? Hopefully tonight someone gave you a little bit of pause in your daily routine and said, that's a good question. Who would I be if I didn't have this job? What would be my core values? You're looking at a $5,000 watch and a chain on it, but is that who you really are? Is that where your value lies and what your money can purchase or can't purchase? How long does that value last? These are things when you get into who comes abroad and how the communities operate and navigate, where some people don't ever get involved and have a good time with the community that is there. You could be a part of a great community, but not a great person. That often is a you thing. It's not the community. So many people are moving abroad and saying, I'm just going to take who I am and they're going to see me on the other side TSA. That's what he said. Who are you at your core value? When you no longer feel the crunch of America, when you have the weight of America off of you, who are you? Where do you put your time, your energy? Yes, your money can go further in the United States. Does it change you into the person that no one wants to be around? The person that you're saying that you're willing to leave in the United States just to become them? The colonizer, the gentrifier, the person that you were saying I would never be. Well, you can always say that from the back seat, but what if you're in the driver's seat? That is the introspectiveness that I need you guys to have when looking and considering moving abroad, what this looks like. Retirement, yes, it's possible. Yes, you have healthcare. Military vets, yes, you do have a community in certain places. Yes, you could actually have a VA in certain places. There are people that understand who you are. Those people are both in your community and still scared and have the paralysis analysis. There's a bunch of us living abroad, living our best lives. We realized who we are now and what it is that makes us go, makes us get up in the middle every morning now. It may be a 180 change from where you are today versus who you will be on the other side of the TSA. My job is just to stoke that fire, stoke that conversation in you so that you can answer this for yourself. Give you some understanding that this is not going to live in your head and play out the way you need it to. Take time, get that journal, put that pen to that paper, write this down. You need to. That's a need. It's a mandatory thing. If you say you are about this moving abroad life, you are about succeeding in moving abroad, you need a reference point. Write it down. I know you got the notes and everything in your phone. Write it down. You are committing to a process. I need you to take it seriously. This may be the first time in your entire life that you are actually in the driver's seat of your life. It's okay. I know you're an adult, but it's reality. And what you can do with that is live your best life. So, if you guys haven't already during this conversation, please go to moodtravelabroad.com. It is two O's in mood. Mood like my mood is happy. Moodtravelabroad.com. That is where you are going to get a number of things. One, you are going to lock in your early bird discount. That is the most important thing for you to do because that is the resource connectivity that you are going to need in your life. If Colombia, Mexico, Panama, or South Africa is on your radar, there's nowhere else you need to be. The second thing you're going to find on there, which is the second, and it's a lot of things, which is free resources. These resources are designed to show you, okay, well, what's the cost of living there prior to the conference and conversation? What's the best times to go there? What are some neighborhoods? You said I need to know three of them. What are they? What are the top neighborhoods that people like me are living in or are affordable to live in? I can go and send you there right now, and you can take a test, ask some questions, answer some questions about yourself, and then based off of the destinations that we actually will connect you with, it'll say, hey, these are the top destinations based off of questions that you answered about yourself and what you want. I do my best to try to lay these resources out, But it is up to you to get up, walk towards them, take advantage of them. They were not available when so many of us went to go move abroad. As I bring on more speakers, especially ones that are active American expats like myself, one thing they say is, I wish that this conversation, that this resource was around when we went. And I said, I had a feeling that a lot more people were coming, and I knew that it was going to be best guided through somebody that actually gives a damn. So hopefully you can see tonight, I honestly give a damn about not only you, but the entire community of people that are looking to move abroad. Whether you come on our virtual relocation conference, whether you spend hours sitting there over 200 videos on YouTube at Black Expat Life Abroad, therein lies the resources and information that at least say, hey, if you don't want to go to the conference, you can still sit there and watch the videos. The videos will show you the value and what the conference will provide, but the videos are free. I know it might not be in your budget to pay for that, but there's why the videos lie. YouTube is where you can go. You can go like, follow, subscribe, and comment, because I take feedback. I take understanding of what it is that you may be going through that maybe we didn't cover. Or you might want to get some understanding on another topic. That's fine. I always look at the comments so that way I can go and say, okay, I keep getting this comment. Let's bring on the expert and have a conversation. This is my value to the community, but I will tell you, I only found this out by leaving the United States. This was not my job or my hat before I left. And it's an opportunity to be of value to people that look like me and have the opportunity to build a new life, a new legacy, and seriously transform their lives. So let me check the comments, make certain that I'm not missing anybody that said anything. I want to make certain that you guys will be back tomorrow. It is the month of November, and tomorrow is number 11, day 11. Can you imagine? We started off at day 1 and now we are at day 11. We have gone through so many things today, as well as over the last number of days. We will finish out strong with some additional topics to get you guys ready before Friday the 14th, which is the end of early bird relocation. You guys can go there. I will tell you the biggest difference between GA and VIP is how much discount you get off on your visa processing services, how much discount you get off on your physical relocation tour. You're going to get information and activity and understanding of all of those things on the conference, as well as what you need to go figure out where I'm going to go and who do I need to know when I get there. So I hope you guys have had a good time tonight. As always, I appreciate you. I will see you guys mañana. We'll be back 6 p.m. Eastern time. We'll post the topic for conversation sometime tomorrow. So make sure you are following Black Expat Life Abroad. That is on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. It's really easy to find us, and moodtravelabroad.com. That's where you're going to go get your ticket. So all my serious people looking to move abroad, that is where you will find all of the resources that you need and get you locked in at that early bird rate. I will see you guys tomorrow. You guys jump into my comments, my messages. Let me know if you need anything. It has been a pleasure. My name is RJ. I will see you guys mañana.